Hello and welcome everyone to the today's episode of Touchdown. Today we are going to be talking about the biggest sporting extravaganza on planet Earth, that is FIFA World Cup football, that is going to be kicking off in the capital city of Doha, that is capital of Qatar, in a few hours from now, where the host nation Qatar would be taking on Ecuador. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the fortunes of all the 32 teams who would be playing their first match in the round robin stage of this World Cup. We're also going to talk about some of the favorites for this World Cup, who is likely to win it this time. Is there any nation who can unseat France as the reigning champions? Is Brazil good enough? Or is this going to be an African summer, if possible at all? Also remember that this is the first ever Winter World Cup. The World Cup is supposed to be held usually in the months of June and July. But since there is a searing heat wave in Qatar during that period, the World Cup was pushed to the months of November and December. But Qatar being Qatar, it's always very, very hot, and maybe the weather could have a significant result on the outcome of this tournament. So let's get started, and we are going to start off with Group A, which include obviously the host Qatar, then there is the South American nation of Ecuador, and then the European powerhouse Netherlands and the African champion Senegal. And now in the first match, as usual, the hosts will be kicking it off against Ecuador. And as we all know that Qatar is playing its debut match in the World Cup. They have never ever qualified for the World Cup before, and they will be playing it there in their own country for the first time. Also, Qatar are the reigning Asian champions, but are the lowest ranked team in this particular World Cup. They are currently ranked maybe 50, 51, something like that. And obviously nobody is giving them much chance in this tournament because they have absolutely no experience. Some of their players do not really play in the most toughest of the leagues in Europe and South America. But I think in the first match that they're going to be playing against Ecuador, Ecuador has barely qualified from the South American region. They are not the force that they used to be. So I think they have a pretty good chance, Qatar, if they do not get overawed by the occasion. If they can maintain their cool for first 15-20 minutes, do not concede a goal, I think they have a fair chance. I think I'm going to take a punt on this particular match, and I'm going with a draw and Qatar winning their first ever points in this World Cup. As far as the other two teams are concerned, Netherlands, obviously European powerhouse. If we start to equate Netherlands with probably cricket, then they are probably the South Africa of cricket. Always very, very talented, have some of the best players on this planet, but always underachieve at the world stage. They have been in 3 World Cup finals, lost all of them, and haven't really done well in the past 2 editions of this World Cup. They have some of the topmost talents like Virgil van Dijk, Matthias de Ligt, Gakpo, exciting midfielder in Frankie de Jong, and really if they do well, they have a brilliant coach in Louis van Gaal. If they can do well, they can definitely reach the stages of quarterfinal, maybe even semi-final. However, I think in this particular match they are playing Senegal, which are the reigning African champions, who have had a whale of a time in last 2 years. They have pretty much won everything that was in their sights, but they received very, very bad news just before the World Cup when they have lost their talismanic striker Sadio Mane. He got injured while playing in the league in Germany, and he will not be participating in this World Cup. However, still Netherlands and Senegal should be good enough to proceed from Group A to the next round. In this particular match, I'm going with Netherlands for a narrow win over Senegal, precisely because Sadio Mane is absent. Let's move on to Group B, and this is a very, very political group. This includes USA, this includes England, this includes Iran, and then the tiny nation of Wales as well. Now, we all know how relations are between US and Iran, and they always produce a great match whenever they have played at the World Cup stage. However, in the first round matches, England would be playing Iran while USA will be playing Wales. I mean, England, again, I have spoken to a lot of my English friends and they think that England has absolutely no chance, which is very surprising given the fact that just last year under Gareth Southgate, they reached the final of the European Championships where they lost to Italy. They have some of the topmost talent in the world in Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, and I mean, I can keep on going on. And I think they are good enough to reach at least the quarterfinals. And in this particular instance, I'm going to go with an easy 2-0 win over Iran for England. In the other match, I think US will be playing Wales. Both are equally talented teams. Wales have Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey, who are some of the best talent in world football currently. I think Wales should have enough to get past USA in the first match. As far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at England and Wales to proceed from this particular group as well. Moving on to Group C, and Group C will see one of the topmost giants of world football right now, Argentina. Obviously, they will be led by Lionel Messi, who will be playing in his last World Cup, and Argentine players, Argentine fans will like to give him a perfect send-off with the World Cup trophy that he so much craves. Also, Argentina has brilliant players at each and every level. I mean, the goalkeeper, their defenders, forward line with Lautaro Martinez as well. I mean, they have serious talent in their ranks. And I think they will be very good, and they will be topmost contenders. Lot of experts, if you are hearing, lot of experts are predicting Argentina to go all the way. They will be playing Saudi Arabia in the first match. Perfect start for Argentina. I mean, no disrespect to Saudi Arabia, but they are not the strongest team here. So I believe that Argentina will be good enough and will be defeating Saudi Arabia by at least 2 goals. That's what I think. I think even Leo Messi should be scoring in this particular match. The other 2 teams in Group C are Poland and Mexico. Poland, obviously, with Robert Lewandowski leading the ranks, should be a serious contender from this group. But Mexico always outperforms in World Cups. They do so well when they come to the world stage. Their goalkeeper, Guillermo Ochoa, almost becomes Superman when it comes to World Cup. He does nothing for 4 years. But come the World Cup and he just excels at the world stage. They have some serious forwards in Irving Lozano as well that can do very well. Last time, if you remember, in 2018, they even managed to upset Germany in the first match as well. In this particular match, both the teams are equally matched, so I'm going with a draw. From this group, my guess is Argentina and Poland should be strong enough to proceed to the next round. Let's move on to Group D, where Denmark will be playing Tunisia. And then obviously we also welcome the reigning champions France in this particular group, who will be playing Australia in the first match. Now Denmark has a good team. They did reasonably well in the European Championships last time. Christian Eriksen, their talismanic midfielder, is back now after having suffered a major scare at the European Championship where he collapsed on the field itself. But he's now fully fit and should be raring to go. Tunisia again qualified from the African region, but I do not have much hopes from them. They're a decent team, but not that great that they can challenge Denmark. So I believe Denmark should be winning this match easily. In the other match, France, wow, what a team. France, I mean, is stacked with quality. There will be no Paul Pogba, there will be no N'Golo Kante, but France would be saying no problem at all. We have new talent coming up in Eduardo Camavinga. They also have Aurélien Tchouaméni, who both plays for Real Madrid and will be this spearhead in the midfield. In the forward line, they have Karim Benzema, the Ballon d'Or winner. They have Griezmann. They obviously have Kylian Mbappe. How can I miss him? Obviously. So they have talent loaded in each and every area of the field. They will be striving hard to defend their crown. And I think they should be good enough to beat Australia in the first match. Again, France and Denmark should be too strong and should come out of this group unscathed. Moving on to Group E, and it will be welcoming my favorite team, Germany. And Germany will be playing, again, a huge team in Spain, then the Asian powerhouse, Japan, and the South American challengers, Costa Rica. Now, Germany had a particularly poor tournament in 2018 where they crashed out in the first round. Germany usually always goes to the business end of the tournaments. They always manage to reach quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals at least in these tournaments. But they performed very badly at Russia 2018. This time they have a fair mix of youth and experience. They have a very good coach in Hansi Flick. And I mean, they would be aiming to reach at least the semifinals in this particular tournament. They are going to be facing Japan. Japan, again, Asian powerhouse, have some decent players in Mario Yoshida and Takumi Minamino, but in this case, I'm going with a German win over Japanese. And the other two teams, Spain, again, brilliant team. Spain have dropped three of their superstars, David De Gea. They have also dropped Thiago Alcantara, and they have dropped Sergio Ramos, because they have some serious young talent coming across. Look out for Gavi and Pedri, who are like 17 and 18 years old. They are the future of football for me, and I think they will be performing brilliantly at this tournament. Again, they should be really too good for Costa Rica, and I'm going for a Spanish win, at least 2-0 in this case. Moving on to Group F, here we are seeing the perennial underachievers of European football, Belgium, playing. They will be playing 2018 runners-up of the World Cup, Croatia, and the other two teams in the group are Canada and Morocco. Now, Belgium, just like Netherlands, just underachieves at the world stage. They have brilliant talent. I think they have the best player in the world right now in Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's playing magnificently for Manchester City. And just look out for him. He might just seize the day and want to announce himself to the rest of the world that he is absolutely the best player around at the moment. Belgium would be playing Canada. Canada is not particularly strong team, has qualified after a long while, and I think Belgium should be winning this match easily. Similarly, Croatia with their talismanic midfielder Luka Modric and some of the other serious talent like Ivan Perisic and Brozovic should be good enough and should be defeating Morocco in this match. Moving on to Group G, it has the Samba Boys, Brazil. It also has Serbia, Switzerland, and the African giants Cameroon participating in this group. Now, Brazil, I keep on saying that teams have a lot of talent, but if you really want to see quality stacked in each and every corner of the Brazilian team, you want to see it is Brazil. Brazil currently has the two best goalkeepers in the world in Alisson and Ederson. They have some serious talent up front with Neymar, Gabriel Jesus, Anthony, Rafinha, Richarlison, Vinicius Jr. I can just keep on naming them. You can put in 5 substitutes in this particular World Cup. Still, Brazil will not be able to field all their talents even after substituting all these forward line entirely itself. So Brazil, I think, are serious contenders. They should be considered as favorites to win their 6th World Cup. And they will be playing Serbia in the first round. Serbia always plays well, is a decent team, is a strong team, but I think Brazil should be too good for Serbia in the opening match. The other group match, Switzerland, has been performing brilliantly in past few years on the world stage. They have Xherdan Shaqiri and Granit Xhaka, who are their talismanic midfielders. They will be playing Cameroon, who should be really the dark horses of this tournament. Nobody's talking about Cameroon, but they had an excellent tournaments in the past in the World Cup. They have good experience. They hosted the African Championship last year, but did not manage to reach the final. But I still think that they should be considered as a serious challengers, at least dark horses, and I believe that they should be good enough to beat Switzerland in the opening match. The last group, Group H, will see Portugal, Uruguay, Korea, and Ghana participating. Now, Portugal being Portugal and with their talismanic striker Cristiano Ronaldo, whose tournament this should be the last tournament. They will be striving to give him another perfect standoff, like Argentina is going to try for Messi. And Ronaldo, if he's half as fiery as the interviews that he's been giving recently, you can still see the smoke coming out of Erik ten Hag's ears right now. I think Portugal has a fair chance. Portugal is missing one of their star strikers, Diogo Jota, but I think they still have a lot of quality with Bruno Fernandes, Pepe, and a lot of other players. And they should be good enough to top this group. Ghana is a good team from Africa, but I do not think they have much chance. So I'm going with Portugal in their match against Ghana. The last match that is going to be there is between the former champions Uruguay, who will be playing South Korea. Now, Uruguay, again, they pretty much tend to qualify for all the World Cups. They do decently. Sometimes they get out of the group. This time again, they have some of their aging strikers, Luis Suarez and Edinson Cavani. And then they have a new superstar in Darwin Núñez as well. And their team is a good mix of experienced people plus young stars. And again, I think they should do pretty well and should qualify from this group along with Portugal. However, in this particular match, I'm going for a draw. Korea is a decent Asian team. Son should be leading them from the front. And this particular match, I'm going with a 1-1 draw. But still, Portugal and Uruguay should really be qualifying from this particular group. So that's it for the first round matches. I think it's going to be a brilliant tournament. I'm just looking forward to it. And let's see how it goes. The first matches, teams tend to be a little bit pragmatic. They do not go all out. They tend to understand the conditions. They tend to understand the opposition. They really do not want to lose their first round matches. So you will see some of the teams being really circumspect up front. But as you go along in the tournament, the quality should start to rise on the top, and you will see these top teams performing at the very best. I'm hoping that it's going to be a brilliant tournament. It's not every day that the World Cup comes to Asia. So let's hope for a brilliant tournament. I will be presenting second round matches from a different location, hopefully in next week. But just wishing all the teams all the very best, and everyone have a lovely World Cup. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.